you, Madam, for giving me this opportunity.
Good space.
Madam, this is my maiden attempt to address this August House. Madam, I would like to endorse the need to conserve the nature, environment, ecology, and also the need to have a sustainable development. But at the same time, I am constrained to share my concern over the so-called conservation initiatives at the instance of certain NGOs, those who are receiving funds from the foreign funding agencies and all. That too without the involvement, participation of the people, without taking them in confidence. So, Madam, this will be a counterproductive effort on the part of the government to have these kind of conservation activities without the people, without their participation. See, for example, now the government is proceeding with the conservation of Western Ghats on the basis of certain reports procured by some non-governmental organizations through Western Ghats Ecology Expert Panel headed by Professor Madhav Gadgil and high-level working group appointed by the Ministry of Environment and Forest headed by Dr. K. Kasturirangan. Here, in the year 2006, the Government of India has approached the World Heritage Committee for inscripting 39 sites in the Western Ghats on the list of World Heritage tag, World Heritage, Natural World Heritage sites. And for that purpose, the World Heritage Committee has rejected their application thrice, and ultimately in the year 2009, they have adjourned the consideration of this proposal, adjourned the consideration of this proposal, stating that for want of a scientifically gathered data and a regulatory regime on the basis of such a data. But thereafter, the Government of India has appointed Western Ghats Ecology Expert Panel. The unfortunate thing is that this panel has been appointed by the MOEF, Minister of MOEF, then in charge, at a conclave of non-governmental organizations campaigning for the conservation of Western Ghats at Kotagiri in Nilgiris. Thereafter, their mandate was to have a study on these Western Ghats ecological issues, that too with the participation and involvement of the people through a comprehensive consultation process. But unfortunately, this Western Ghats Ecology, WGP did not venture for such a consultative process. Thereafter, they submitted a report. The most interesting thing is that this committee was appointed on 4th March 2010. On 6th January 2011, the IUCN, a non-governmental organization campaigning for this conservation of this Western Ghats, they have written a letter to the MOEF stating that what are your suggestions for the existing dams in the Western Ghats, what is the suggestions for the existing plantations and pesticides used therein, and so many other things. That the report submitted on 31st August 2011, the Western Ghats Ecologically Expert Panel in categorical terms agreed or acceded to the demands of the IUCN and international agency and submitted a report for the purpose of satisfying the Western Ghats World Heritage Committee for the purpose of inscripting these 39 sites on the list of World Heritage Natural Sites. That report, I would say, it is a two-tiered one, it is a tailor-made one for the purpose of satisfying the Western Ghats Ecology World Heritage Committee for the purpose of obtaining this World Heritage tag. Thereafter, on the basis of large widespread agitation against the proposals of the World Heritage Committee, WGP, the government have appointed another committee, the World Heritage Committee, that high-level working group headed by Dr. K. Kasturirangan. They also did not make any effort to have consultation with the local people, local communities, and local self-government institutions. Without having a consultation process, they submitted a report on 15/4/2013. And by that report, 4,156 villages in the West State have been demarcated and delineated as ecologically sensitive areas. And out of that, 123 villages in Kerala, and out of that, 48 villages are in my constituency, Idukki, in Kerala state. See, the criteria adopted for the Western Ghats, the high-level working group for demarcating this ecologically sensitive area is the population density. Population density having less than 100 per square kilometer has been excluded from, included in the ecologically sensitive areas, and other areas have been excluded from the ecologically sensitive zone. But unfortunately, the thickly populated areas having more than 750 people per square kilometer have been included in this Western Ghats, in this ecologically sensitive area. Now the problem is, government has accepted this report and issued a notification that dated 13/11/2013 under Section 5 of the Environmental Protection Act, declaring the entire area as ecologically sensitive area. Madam Speaker, now we are facing a very difficult situation in our constituency because we are not in a position to undertake the bare minimum developmental works under the local self-government institutions, or any other developmental activities cannot be implemented because for want of raw materials like granite, etc., etc., etc. We are not for any mining activities in Western Ghats. But these mining activities should be regulated. But regulated should, to the extent of providing raw materials to the local development needs. That should be done. Otherwise, we'll be in problem. This, madam, but this is my maiden speech. I am concluding. Just 1 minute, madam. This is my maiden speech. Please, madam. This is only one point. One more point, madam. This is what is happening in.
There are so many speakers.
This is what is happening under the guise of this protecting the environment. This cannot be permitted. That's my Milord. Another project is there. Is this high range mountain landscape development project, which is a project implementing by the MOEF. That too with the support of the UNDP and funded by Global Environment Facility. See, this is a project implementing in Idukki district. See, the objective of that project is to convert 11,600 hectares of farmland to a protected area. This cannot be protected. See, our only request is to, we are for conserving the nature because we are cultivating the tropical crops there, cardamom, tea, coffee, etc., etc. And this environment and ecological condition is very, very much essential for our sustenance also. So we are for conserving this environment, but this conservation of environment should be with our participation, with our informed consent, and with the involvement of the people living there. For that we are agreed. Otherwise, it will be counterproductive. Madam Speaker, we cannot conserve the nature by waging war against the people living there. So I urge upon the government to have a fresh initiative after taking us in confidence that with our involvement and participation, we are ready to cooperate with the government. With these words, I may conclude. Thank you.
Thank you.